in the hall with y'all about Baltimore. I'm sure all of you hustlers know where this is. I know all of you hustlers know what this is. I'm now standing beside the notorious penitentiary. They call it the pen. It had ended up being like metros and this, that, and the other, part of city jail, and you could do up to 4 years here. But before that, it was a notorious penitentiary where Peanut King and all the big timers went. And this was a notorious place. They had the Baltimore youth come through called Scared Straight, where they would have you come inside of here and they would scare you half to death, because just walking inside of these walls would damn near scare you to death. Man, Charles Dutton, the actor, said he did time here at the penitentiary, man, when it was the penitentiary, man. You had killings, rapings, all kinds of stuff inside of this place. Just look at it. It looks grimy and it looks like a place where you wouldn't want to be. And it's right in our city. But they have since torn it down because it was a guy inside of there who had sex with inmates and all of that and got the girls pregnant and this, that, and the other. It was all on the news and everything, so I'm not saying something that nobody knows about. Everybody know about it. So the feds wind up taking over once he got the girls pregnant, and they wind up telling on him and snitching on each other and all types of shit. I told you, when shit hit the fan, motherfuckers will tell on your ass in a heartbeat. And I don't know why guys get females involved in their business. It's only 1 out of 20 females that's going to stand up and take that time and go hard and do what they supposed to do, man, in the game. The rest of them, they're weak. Females are going to tell, man. They are meant to be soft and nurturers and stuff. They're not meant to be gangsters, at all. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But anyway, somebody starting the car from inside the place. Wasn't nobody even in there. But yeah, this is where Charles Dutton, the guy who's an actor, The Rock, he had the show in Baltimore where he was the trash man. Also, he had The Corner. I think The Corner was a better depiction of Baltimore than The Wire. It showed the drug dealing side and it showed the dope fiend side. It showed the reality of most people who sell drugs. Like Dre started off, him and his cousin started off selling drugs. Then Dre started sneaking off. His mother was an addict, so he was used to giving his mothers to support her habit. So he started dipping off and snorting and bipping and getting high and this, that, and the other. And then Dre went from being a drug dealer to a drug user. And that's what most of the dealers do here in Baltimore. They start sniffing that heroin and they wind up 5 years later, after you see them, they don't have a Lexus no more. They bummy, and you don't even know it's the same goddamn person that it was 5 years ago. It was a good depiction of the game. The Wire was more like, it started off good, and then it got into all of that the politics, and it went somewhere where most of these people never been as a dealer, where you started making millions and you were buying real estate and all that. Most of these guys ain't never done no shit like that, these dealers in Baltimore. So I couldn't relate to that shit because I never done that. I could relate to the Dre situation. Yeah, man, because that's what most of us done. Started dealing at a young age, didn't know what we were getting into, and started putting that stuff up our nose, and then we became fiends. So that Dre situation was the corner to me was a better depiction of Baltimore City. But the Wire and everything was good too, because the Wire got Baltimore noticed. But check the corner out sometimes if you never saw it. Charles Dutton, the corner. I loved it. But this penitentiary was a notorious place, man. And then you had Central Booking, uh, 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 Bell's bondsman. You know, I remember I jumped bail on on Central Bookings on one of these bail bombers down here. I jumped the bail on him. It was a hurricane. I thought the courts were closed, but they wasn't. And I didn't go. Man, they hunted me down, man, like a dog, man. I had them on the run for a couple weeks. But goddamn, I couldn't keep running, man. And on the run is a hard thing to do, man. Watching your back, people who you think your friends, the bail's bomb and offer them a few dollars, they turn you in. That's how I got caught. A nigga told on me and had me. I was selling Ready Rock, and the guy told me, hey, waving, I need a sale, but he waving the police the whole time. He kind of favored me, so they probably jumped out on him first, and then said, if you see this guy, and when he knew me, so when he saw me, and I was hanging over west, I lived the east, so they couldn't find me. I had to come over east though, because I had to make a few moves, man. And I came over here, and that's how I got caught, man. And he waving, yo, I need two of them. And when I came to him, they jumped out on me, man. They grabbed me. They told me if I wanted to get rid of that Ready Rock, give it to somebody or whatever. Man, I threw that shit in the trash. Because I figured that nigga had snitched on me after I got situated down in Bookings and all that. I said, that nigga told, man. And I sit over to jail for a $50 bail. All I needed was $50. I jumped on the $25,000. My peoples got me out. They let me sit. They said, you need a break, homeboy. And for $50, all my girlfriends that I had, they would go to my mother's house. I got the money to get them out. My mother said, if you don't get the hell away from here, don't never show your face over here again. If you get him out, don't never come past here ever again. And they didn't do it. I could have been got it. I just knew I was coming home, man. But I sit over there and I got my mind right a little bit. And I understood what I had done. I put my family in jeopardy because they signed for me. The bail's bomber didn't take it that far because they caught me before the insurance thing lapsed or whatever. So they didn't take it that far, man. And they went to my house looking for me. But they knew my grandmother. The man said I could tell she wasn't lying, that she was a good woman. She said you wasn't there. We never went back there. He said you could have been going home. I said, man, shit. Well, anyway, that's a bail's bond story. And also, this raggedy joint. I did 9 months in that raggedy joint, man. Pigeons, shitting. Pigeons used to get in there, and you wake up, and a pigeon be sitting on your cell. You know what I mean? And because I had raised pigeons when I was younger, I wasn't afraid of them. But a lot of people was afraid of them. Plus, them digs, they carry diseases. Lice, they carry lice flies, and Rich is really good to have on a pigeon if he got lice, because the lice fly eats the lice off of the bird. So sometimes you leave the lice fly on them and let it eat all the lice fly. Then you put the lice powder on them. Well, anyway, that's when we was raising birds. But this motherfucker notorious right here, man. And a lot of guys been through there and come home and they got some real stories to tell about that penitentiary, man. And like I say, they had the Scared Straight thing for the Baltimore children to come through, man. And we went down there when we was young. And I was like, man, I never want to come in here. And then later on in life, when I walked in there, I was on, this is street side. I was in A123, man. A123, man. and on the first tier on street side. And when I walked up in there, I looked, I said, man, it seemed like it's ghosts in there of the people who got killed or stabbed, or the inmates that died in there that used to be in there, that the walls be canky. Oh man, the showers, you come out the shower in the winter, you right there, it's freezing cold, the doors are open, it's you outside. This place is horrible. They should have shut that motherfucker down. They should have been shut it down. Man, I went in there, I said, man, and me, like I said, I had escaped a lot of jail bits. I went in there for that year. I said, man, if you gotta do 4 years in this joint, oh my God, this is terrible, man. And you gotta walk up all the steps, and it had about 5, 6 levels, something like that. And you gotta walk up these little spiral steps. It's just a recipe for disaster, man. The guards are way down the bottom, and you are way up the top in the back in a cell, and somebody done threw an old bomb in your shit and your cell on fire, and you screaming, ah, and by the time you get up there, man, you're dead, man. Or somebody up there hitting you up in the back of that, you dead, man. That motherfucker was oh my God, that was a terrible place, man. I hated that spot, man. It was dirty, it was crowded, and it just wasn't a place to be. Not for me, anyway. I'm Don King. I'm not supposed to be in here. I'm supposed to be laid up with a female. You know what I mean? But anyway, that was a little knowledge for y'all about one of the landmarks. See, they tore all the places down in Baltimore, but that's a landmark because they used to have the Underground Railroad come through the underneath there before they made it the penitentiary. It was the Underground Railroad where Harriet Tubman and all helped the people escape, because Maryland was where they held a lot of slaves. So it has a lot of history. It's a landmark, so they can't just tear it down. But they have condemned it and made it so nobody has to be in there and stuff like that. And the feds have took over the central booking and stuff like that, man. Well, stay out of places like that, youngsters. If you never seen a prison, that's how they look. When you come up to them, they don't look like colleges. They look like Castle Grayskull. And you'd be scared to death, man, when you get off that bus. The Bluebird. That's what it's called, the Bluebird. You get off the old Bluebird, shackled, and they say, here come new fish, new fish. You know what I mean? And all that old shit, howling and screaming. You got to be on your shit. You got to strap your boots up and say, I'm going hard. If you don't, you'll be somebody's bitch. And that's one to grow on. Peace!